The story begins on a quiet Sunday evening. The city was calm, but inside a tall mansion at Hilltop Estate, a storm was growing. This was the home of Mr. Edward Okafor, a billionaire businessman, a powerful politician, and a man whose name opened doors everywhere. People described Edward in many ways. Some said he was brilliant. Some said he was strict. Many whispered that he was dangerous. But everyone agreed on one thing. He was a man you should never offend. Edward was in his late 50s, dark-skinned, tall, and always neatly dressed. His presence alone commanded fear. His speeches were strong, his eyes sharp, and his voice carried authority. He built companies, won elections, and controlled important men like chess pieces. But for all his power, Edward had one heavy burden: his only son. His son Adrian was 21, but behaved like someone who never grew up. He ignored rules, wasted money, and embarrassed his father every week. Edward loved the boy deeply, but the boy did not understand the weight of his father's name. Instead, he used it as a shield to escape trouble. On this particular evening, Edward stood by the window, staring at the city he ruled. His phone vibrated. It was a number he already knew: the police station. Again, he closed his eyes and breathed heavily. "Sir, we respect you as a great man," the officer began, "but your son is at it again." Edward said nothing. He only whispered, "Bring him home." As he ended the call, one silent thought filled the mansion: how long will I keep saving this boy? And that question, unknown to Edward, would soon shape the tragedy of his life. Adrian arrived home with two police officers behind him. He walked with careless steps, smelling of alcohol, smiling like nothing was wrong. He was handsome, light-skinned, curly hair, expensive clothes, and a charm that easily fooled strangers. But behind that charm was a dangerous attitude. He greeted the officers with a lazy wave. "Thanks, guys. My dad will handle it." Edward stared at him in silent anger. "Adrian, what did you do this time?" The boy shrugged. "Just small fun. They exaggerated." But the truth was never small. That day alone, Adrian and his friends had crashed a nightclub, poured expensive drinks on the floor for vibes, and almost beat up a waiter who begged them to stop. When the manager called security, Adrian proudly shouted, "Do you know who my father is?" The police were called, but when they heard the name Edward Okafor, they softened immediately. This was not the first time, not even the 10th. There were other stories. One time, Adrian drove his father's SUV into a fruit stall, destroying everything. He stepped out laughing, promising to send money, but never did. Another time, he got a girl pregnant and refused to take responsibility. When her family complained, he insulted them, saying they were lucky he even noticed the girl. Another day, he snuck into his father's office party, flirting with married women, creating a scene that embarrassed Edward in front of his business partners. Every week had a new drama. Every month had a new scandal. Still, Adrian believed he was untouchable, because every time, somehow, Daddy fixed it. But this time, when Edward looked at his son, something in him felt different. Something heavy, something tired. He wondered silently, is this the child I raised? months later, Adrian's reckless life finally crossed a line that no powerful father could erase. It happened at a private beach house during a wild party. Loud music, expensive drinks, half-drunk young men dancing and shouting. Among them was Adrian, leading the madness as usual. That night, a shy young girl named Sharon came with a friend who begged her just to come and chill. She didn't drink, she didn't party. She only sat quietly, waiting for her friend to finish. But Adrian noticed her. He stumbled towards her, smiling dangerously. "Why are you sitting alone? Let me show you fun." Sharon refused gently. "Please, I am not interested." His friends laughed, teasing him. "Big man, she rejected you." Adrian felt insulted. He was not used to hearing no. In anger, he and his friends cornered her. They pressured her, mocked her, and refused to let her leave. Things escalated. She screamed. They covered her mouth, and before the night was over, the unthinkable happened. By morning, Sharon was gone forever. Her friend cried and exposed everything. The news spread like wildfire. The police stormed the beach house and arrested everyone. Adrian didn't even panic. He laughed in the police truck. But at home, Edward was staring at the report with shaking hands. He read every detail. His heart dropped. He whispered to himself, voice breaking, "My son has destroyed someone's child and destroyed me too." For the first time in his life, Edward cried. For the first time in his life, Adrian had committed a crime that even power could not justify. The news of Sharon's death spread across the country like Harmattan fire. Every radio station talked about it. Every TV channel repeated the same painful headline: "Billionaire's son involved in beach house tragedy." Edward sat alone in his study, watching the report. His heart felt heavy. He could not breathe well. His hand shook each time Sharon's picture appeared on the screen. He imagined her mother crying. He imagined her father breaking down. For the first time, Edward truly felt shame. Deep, burning shame. His political rivals used the story to insult him. People on social media called him a hypocrite. Opposition groups mocked him. If he cannot control one boy, how can he control a whole country? The pain stabbed his heart. He called every police contact he knew. Many feared him, but even they whispered, "Sir, this case is too big. The girl's family is shouting. The public is shouting, no. We cannot hide this one." Edward ended the call with trembling hands. Meanwhile, Adrian sat in the interrogation room, smiling, acting like a king. He proudly told the officers, "Once my father steps here, all of you will beg me." But when Edward finally came to see him, he did not shout. He did not insult anyone. He only looked at his son with tired, swollen eyes. "Adrian," he whispered, "do you know what you have done?" Adrian laughed. "Dad, relax. Let's go home. Call your people. Solve it." But there was no softness in Edward's face this time. No fear. No panic. Just grief. "I cannot save you anymore," he said, voice cracking. Adrian froze. For the first time, he felt something he had never felt before: fear. That night, Edward called a secret meeting with 3 trusted men: his political advisor, his old friend from the army, and a private security chief. They met in a dark room in the basement of the mansion. No one smiled. The atmosphere was heavy. Edward leaned forward, eyes red from crying. "I have covered that boy for too long," he said. "I have fixed his mess for years, and now he has taken a child's life." The army friend sighed. "Edward, if you let the court handle this, you will never survive it. The public is angry. The press will eat him alive." The advisor added, "And if you try to protect him again, the nation will turn against you. The election you want to contest will be gone." Edward looked down at the table. For years, he dreamed of becoming president. But now, even that dream felt meaningless. "What do I do?" he whispered. The private security chief spoke slowly. "There is a place, a prison deep in the forest of another country. No internet, no visitors, no mercy. Only the worst criminals go there. No comfort, none. No special treatment, none. No escape, impossible." Edward closed his eyes. His heart shattered. Sending his son there felt like cutting his own flesh. But letting him go free felt like betraying an innocent girl and her family. "Make arrangements," he said. "Tonight." His voice was steady, but inside, a father was breaking. At 2:17 a.m., when the whole house was quiet, the face of Adrian changed forever. 4 armed security men entered the police holding room. They carried no sirens, no uniforms, only authority. "Adrian Okafor," the leader said, "you are leaving with us." Adrian stood up with a proud smile. "Finally, my dad has come to save me." But the men did not smile. They handcuffed him tightly and dragged him outside. Adrian shouted angrily, "Hey, why are you holding me like a criminal? Where is my father? Where is my car?" No one answered him. They pushed him into a dark van. The engine started. The doors locked. Only then did Adrian feel a cold shiver run down his spine. "Where are you taking me?" he demanded. He kicked the door. He screamed. He threatened them. But the van kept moving, far, far away from city lights. Hours passed. The road changed from smooth tar to rough gravel, then to a narrow path through thick forests. Adrian's heartbeat doubled. The leader finally spoke. "Your father said we should bring you here." Adrian blinked fast. "Bring me? Where?" No reply. At sunrise, the van stopped in front of a tall, rusty gate with electric wires. Screams echoed from inside. Harsh voices shouted commands. Chains rattled. A sign above the gate read, "Forest Correctional Camp. No exit." Adrian froze in terror. "This is a mistake," he whispered. "My father will never do this to me." But as the gate opened and the guards dragged him inside, reality hit him like thunder. Edward was not coming. No one was coming. And for the first time in his life, Adrian understood what it meant to be alone. Adrian entered the prison yard with shaking legs, hot sun, dust everywhere. Men with scars on their faces, men with dead, empty eyes, men who looked like they had never smiled in 20 years. This was not a normal prison. This place felt cursed. A tall guard shouted, new inmate, and pushed Adrian forward. 3 huge prisoners came out. Their bodies were covered with tattoos and old wounds. They looked at Adrian like hungry lions watching soft meat. "Fresh boy," one of them said. "Soft skin," another added. "You won't last 1 week, oh." The third laughed. Adrian's stomach tightened. Back home, everyone feared him. Here, nobody cared about who he was. Nobody cared that he was a billionaire's son. Nobody cared that his father was a politician. To them, Adrian was nothing. The guard threw a dirty mattress on the floor. "That is your bed. If someone takes it, fight or sleep on the ground. Your choice." Adrian looked around for help, but no one helped him. No one even looked at him twice. Later, at lunchtime, he stood in line. The prisoners pushed him aside like a rag. His food plate fell to the ground. When he tried to complain, someone slapped him hard. "This is not your father's house," the man said. That night, Adrian could not sleep. He heard screams from other cells. He heard crying voices. He heard punches and angry shouts. He hugged his knees and shook. All his life, he felt untouchable. But tonight, he finally understood something painful. His father sent him here on purpose. This was not punishment. This was war. And if it did not change, this place would destroy him. On the second day, Adrian woke up with dust in his nose and pain in his back. Someone had kicked him during the night. He didn't even know who. He rubbed his eyes and whispered, "Dad, please come for me." But the truth stabbed him. His father was not coming. The prison bell rang. Everyone rushed outside. Adrian walked slowly until a guard shouted, "Move!" and hit him with a baton. Adrian fell and tasted sand in his mouth. Humiliation burned his chest. Back home, he used to brag about how nobody could touch him. Now, even prisoners insulted him freely. A big man called Bala the Crusher approached him. Bala was feared by everyone. Even guards respected him. "You," Bala said, "what is your name?" Adrian swallowed. Adrian. Bala laughed. "Adrian, that sounds soft. We will call you baby boy." Other inmates laughed coldly. Adrian felt anger rise, but he controlled himself. He remembered the slap from the first day. He remembered the kick during the night. He remembered Sharon's face. He remembered the police station. He just whispered to himself, "Just survive." Bala looked into his eyes. "You are weak. If you stay weak, you will die here. What do I do?" Bala folded his arms. "First lesson, drop your pride. Pride kills quickly in this place." Adrian nodded quietly. "Second lesson," Bala continued. "Walk. Everybody walks. You will fetch water for 2 weeks. If you complain, you will suffer." Adrian listened carefully. He had no choice. For the first time in his life, he obeyed someone completely. That evening, as he carried heavy buckets of water across the yard, sweat dripping from his body, he realized something. He was changing. Slowly, painfully, but changing. By the 4th week, Adrian's hands were full of blisters. His shoulders hurt every day. His feet were swollen. He fetched water. He cleaned toilets. He swept long corridors. Nobody respected him yet, but nobody bullied him like before. Something in him had broken. His arrogance, his pride. It's believed that life owed him comfort. One afternoon, Bala called him. "You are getting stronger," he said. Adrian looked confused. "Stronger? I feel like I am dying." Bala shook his head. "No, you are learning responsibility. That is strength." Adrian went silent. He remembered all the girls he had hurt, all the boys he had bullied, all the alcohol, all the fights, all the broken hearts. For the first time, he felt real guilt. That night, while other inmates slept or snored loudly, Adrian sat awake on his thin mattress. He stared at the cracked walls and whispered, "I wasted my life. I wasted everything." A tear rolled down his cheek. He wiped it quickly so nobody would see. Suddenly, an old inmate from the room spoke softly. "Crying is allowed here. It means you are becoming human." Adrian looked up. The old man smiled gently. "Pain is a good teacher." The man said, "It beats you, but it also opens your eyes." Adrian felt something shift inside his heart. A small light, a small hope, and a small beginning of humility. He lay down slowly. This time, he did not hug himself in fear. This time, he whispered, "I will survive, and I will be better." He didn't know how long this struggle would last. He didn't know when he would leave this place. He didn't know if his father still cared. But one thing was sure. Prison was turning him into a different person. 6 months passed. Adrian was no longer the soft, careless boy who walked into prison on the first day. His face was sharper. His body had grown stronger. His voice was calmer. Most importantly, his heart was different. He now woke up early without being forced. He worked without complaining. He shared food when others were hungry. He apologized when he did wrong. One afternoon, the old inmate who always encouraged him called him close. "Young man," the old man said, "why are you changing?" Adrian took a deep breath. "I destroyed too many lives, especially Sharon's." He paused. "For the first time, I see the pain I caused people. I don't want to be that person again." The old man smiled sadly. "Regret is the door. Change is what you do after you open the door." Adrian nodded. He started reading books from the tiny prison library. Discipline books, faith books, motivational books. He wrote letters to people he had wronged, even though he knew they might never reply. For the first time, he prayed, "God, give me another chance. Let me live differently." He no longer hoped his father would rescue him. He no longer expected a special treatment. He no longer behaved like royalty. One morning, while he walked in the yard, Bala approached him. "Baby boy," Bala said, "you are different now." Adrian smiled weakly. "I'm trying." Bala placed a hand on his shoulder. "Keep trying. That is how we survive." That night, Adrian slept peacefully. For the first time since he arrived, he had nothing to fear inside. His biggest enemy was no longer the prison. His biggest enemy had been himself, and he was finally winning. Everything changed the day a new prisoner arrived. His name was Marcus. Tall, wild eyes, angry face, a man who carried trouble like blood in his veins. Marcus entered the yard shouting, "Everybody move, I'm not here to play." The moment Adrian saw him, his heart dropped. Marcus looked exactly like the kind of boy he used to be. Loud, arrogant, reckless, violent. Later that afternoon, Marcus pushed a small inmate out of the food line. "Get out of my way. Who are you?" Adrian stepped forward before thinking. "Hey, leave him alone." The yard went quiet. Marcus sneered. You want to fight me?" Adrian shook his head calmly. "No, I don't want to fight anyone." Marcus shoved him hard. "Then get out of my way." Old Adrian would have fought back instantly, but this Adrian took a deep breath and stood still. "I am not your enemy," he said quietly. "We all suffer here." Marcus spat on the ground. "You are weak." Later that night, Bala found Adrian sitting alone. "Why did you defend that boy?" "Because I used to be like Marcus, and I know where that road leads. Strength is not always in fighting. Sometimes, strength is in walking away." Adrian sighed. "But Marcus will cause problems here." Bala smiled. "Maybe you are here to show him a different way." Adrian froze. Was that even possible? That night, he wrote in a small notebook, "Maybe my purpose is bigger than just surviving." One hot afternoon, the prison warden called Adrian. "You have a letter," he said. Adrian's heart nearly stopped. A letter? From who? He opened it with trembling hands. It was from his mother. "Adrian, my son, I heard you are changing. I heard you are calmer, wiser, and peaceful now. I am proud of you. But your father still says nothing. He never mentions your name. I don't know if he will ever forgive you. Please stay strong, pray, and keep growing. Mom." Adrian read the letter again and again. Tears rolled down his face. "I will make you proud, Mom." The next day, Adrian worked harder. He helped more inmates. He stayed away from fights. He warned Marcus gently. "One day, you will regret hurting people. You better change now." Marcus laughed at him. "Preacher boy, leave me alone." Adrian didn't argue. That night, while laying on his mattress, Adrian stared at the ceiling. For the first time, he imagined a future, a job, a life, a family, a second chance. He didn't know when he would get out, but he finally knew the kind of man he wanted to be. Across the country, far away in the capital city, something bigger was happening. Edward had just won the election, and the man who once abandoned his son was now holding the power to free him. Adrian didn't know it yet, but his life was about to change again. 2 months passed quietly. Adrian had settled into a calm routine. Wake early, pray, walk, read, write, sleep. He no longer looked like a spoiled billionaire's son. His eyes held peace. His heart held humility. His soul held regret, but also hope. Then, everything changed. One morning, soldiers arrived at the prison gates. Not police, not guards, soldiers, armed and serious. Whispers spread through the yard. What is happening? Did someone escape? Is there a war? The head warden walked fast towards the yard and shouted, "Everyone, stand still." Adrian froze with other inmates. Then, the warden read from a paper. By the order of the President of the Republic, prisoner number 401, Adrian Edward, is hereby granted full release. The yard went silent. Adrian almost fainted. "Me?" he whispered. The warden nodded. "Yes, you. Pack your things." Marcus stared at him shocked. Bala smiled gently. "You see, my boy," Bala whispered. "Grace finds those who truly change." Adrian did not move. He couldn't believe it. After 5 long years, after pain, loneliness, hunger, humiliation, beating, fear, he was finally going home. As he walked out through the prison gate, Bala called out, "Adrian, never forget the man you became here." "I won't," he said with a tearful smile. Outside, black SUVs waited. Armed men saluted him. "Sir, your father, the president, sent us." Adrian entered the car slowly. He didn't remember the world being so bright, so open, so loud. As the convoy drove away, he whispered, "Thank you, God. But what will I find at home?" He had no idea that the biggest heartbreak of his life was waiting for him. The president's mansion stood tall and majestic, guarded by soldiers. Adrian stepped out of the car with trembling hands. 5 years away from luxury made everything look unreal. The shiny floors, the cold air conditioning, the polished walls, the expensive paintings. His mother rushed out first. "Adrian, my son, my baby." She held him so tight, he almost couldn't breathe. Tears poured from her eyes as she touched his face repeatedly. "You've lost weight. You're different. You are a man now." Adrian smiled with watery eyes. "Mom, I'm home." But his father, Edward, the president, did not rush. He walked out slowly, dressed in a crisp white kaftan, bodyguards behind him. He studied Adrian, not with anger, but with deep, serious eyes. Adrian bent his head. "Good afternoon, sir." Edward spoke calmly. "You look changed." "Yes, sir, I am." Edward gave a small nod. "Good, because this house, this country, cannot survive your old behavior." Adrian swallowed. "Yes, sir, I understand." Edward placed a hand on his shoulder. "Welcome home, son." It was the first time he called him son in years. Adrian broke down in tears. His father did not hug him, but for the first time in Adrian's life, that didn't matter. He had something better, his father's respect. Later that evening, the whole family sat for dinner. Servants moved around quietly. Reporters waited outside for news. Everything felt perfect. Until Adrian noticed something strange. His mother's hand shook. Her smile didn't reach her eyes, and she avoided looking at Edward directly. Something was wrong, very wrong. Adrian felt it in his bones, and soon the truth would tear the family apart. That night, Adrian found his mother crying alone in her room. "Mom," he whispered, "what happened?" She tried to wipe her tears but couldn't hide them. "Adrian, there is something I have kept from you, from everyone, for many years." Adrian sat beside her, confused. "Tell me." She took a long, trembling breath. Your father, Edward, is not your real father." Adrian's heart stopped. "What? What do you mean?" She continued, voice shaking. "Before I married Edward, I was engaged to his closest friend, Daniel. He was kind, gentle, and I was already pregnant with you." Adrian stared at her stunned. One night, she whispered, Edward and Daniel had a political argument and Edward killed him. Adrian's eyes widened with horror. She cried harder. He threatened me. He said if I ever told the truth, he would kill me too. I was carrying you. I had no choice. Adrian's chest tightened painfully. All these years, she said, I prayed that the truth would never come out. But now that you are home, now that Edward is president, I fear what will happen when he learns. Adrian stood up, shaking violently. I lived like a prince. I suffered like a criminal. And all along, I wasn't even a son. His mother sobbed. I am sorry, my child. Suddenly, the door burst open. Edward stood there, face red with anger. He overheard them in the walkway. You mean Adrian is not my son? He growled. Edward raised his gun to shoot them both, hands trembling with rage. You both betrayed me, and you will pay for it. Before Adrian could shout, before his mother could even run, Edward gasped, and his hand shook. He collapsed to the floor, lifeless, a heart attack. The mighty man fell without firing a single shot, and the room exploded in screams. The once powerful man died helpless, while the once wayward boy lived, carrying pain lessons and a broken future. And that was how the story ended. Not with glory, but with truth, tears and destiny. Now, what did you learn from this story? Drop your comments in the comment section below.